What is up, trading family? So this is going to be a breakdown on GBPJPY. So I'm gonna go over fundamental reasons that you could look for. So you could look for buys in this pair or sells. So I know a lot of retail traders love to trade GJ. So I just want to help. It doesn't matter if you're a technical trader. You could use these tips to help you with your technical entries as long as the fundamentals is in your favor. So it doesn't matter if you're technicals, trust me, you're going to love this, okay? And this is how I like to look for our trading entries. This is what I like to look for in our private Discord when we do our live calls. And I just want to break this down for you. So right here in our Discord, this is under the central banks tab. So each central bank, there's going to be a bullish bias and bearish bias. So there's going to be reasons to buy the currency. There's going to be fundamental reasons to sell the currency. So right here for the bullish bias, we could see that what I want to look for buys. So if I see that the UK is having economic data and is positive, so the United Kingdom was dealing with recession fears before. So in order for me to see buys, if we have data like GDP, like PMI, industrial production, manufacturing production data is all rising, that is going to give me a reason to want to buy the pound currency. Good data supports the pound currency to the upside. So another bullish bias is if we have CPI data, it stands for inflation, is rising, then that's going to be a signal to want to buy the pound currency. And the reason for that is if we get Bank of England speakers is talking about increasing rates, hiring the terminal rate, that's going to be another bullish reason to want to buy the pound currency. So if we see any of those reasons happen, that's going to be extra confluence in your trades to want to take the pound to the upside. And now if we're looking for a bearish bias, we're looking for everything opposite. We're going to be looking for, negative economic data. We're going to be looking for geopolitical tensions. If we see that recession fears is going to continue, we see that economic data is dropping. We got central bank members from the Bank of England is talking about pausing rates, cutting rates. Those are all reasons we're going to look for the sell pound. And then, because we're looking at GJ, so I'm going to have us look forward to the JPY currency. And this is the Bank of Japan. So Bank of Japan is a negative central bank because they have negative rates. That's what's making the JPY a safe haven currency. Okay, so if we see what are reasons for us to want to have a stronger yen, so if we have a strong yen because it's pound JPY, what's going to happen with this trade is going to push it to the downside. So with a strong yen, if we get a bullish bias, that's when we start looking for sells on GJ, right? Because we have a stronger yen. So what are the reasons? What are the reasons that we're going to look for a stronger yen? So if we hear anything regarding intervention, so that's just the Bank of Japan manipulating the markets to make their currency stronger. That would be a good reason to look for sells for GJ. If we see that the US yields and the US dollar is pushing bearish, that would help make yen stronger for that reason also. If we look at risk flows, sentiment, if we have risk off markets, that's going to help give strength for the JPY currency. So if we see any market fears like geopolitical tensions, we see any escalations in the markets, anything like war, anything that is giving fear to the markets, we're going to be seeing strength increase because it's a safe haven. And that's when we're going to start looking for sells in GJ. And for bearish bias, if like it is already a negative rate, so if we see risk on markets, optimism in the markets, most likely that's going to cause weakness for the yen currency. All right. So those are like the a little breakdown of what we like to look for these pairs. So I'm already in the buys on GJ. So by the time you see this, it probably already happened, but I'm already in a GJ buys. We've been looking for these buys since London session. But now, because GJ trends so nicely, and it gives really good price action for breaks of structure, continuations, stuff like that, order blocks, breakouts. GJ is a really good pair for it. And there's a thing called central bank divergence, right? So we know that the Bank of Japan is a negative central bank, and the Bank of England is increasing rates. So already in general, because of that reason alone, that's why we're seeing upside in GJ, just because of the central bank divergence right there. So if we have a risk on market, then we have a hawkish United Kingdom, Bank of England, and then we're still seeing the Bank of Japan is still dovish. That's one of the main reasons why a lot of technical traders just like to buy GJ alone, and it works because of that central bank divergence. But sometimes we can get sells in the markets, and it could be because of risk flows, and you could take advantage of that trade as well. So you just don't want to be buying GJ if we have political tensions. I mean, like geopolitical tensions. So if we have any wars escalating, any fears in the markets, just right away that should show you that, okay, this is what's going to cause GJ to sell off because of yen strength. All right. But what I like to look for moving forward is now we just have to look at our technicals, right? Because what I was looking for over the London session was we have broken below this support of 173.0. So once we broke below the support, this is already identifying to me that there's more sellers in the markets. So we're going to see more yen strength, pound weakness. But there wasn't a real reason for it, right? So that's what's caused me to be a little more patient, because reasons help you with holding your trades. There wasn't a real reason for it. So that's why over the London session, you could just see that we had pretty much this range that we dealt with for multiple hours until now. We're seeing strength in the pound currency, and most likely we're seeing weakness in the yen. So what I wanted to see over the London session, and what helped me take these buys, was once I could identify that sellers in the markets is waving off. So right here, we see a double bottom for technical structure. We're not seeing price continue lower. And remember this zone at 173.0. The moment I start seeing price close back above that area, that is showing me that there is more buyers in the markets, and that I should be looking for a bullish bias, right? I should be looking to buy this pair, because right here is showing me that there's no more sellers in the markets. So what I'm gonna look for now, just in case y'all see this later on, you just want to see this area hold as a support at 173.0. If not, we want to see 173.6 break, because we can see the structure is forming here. Because once this high continues to break, there's a higher probability that we're just going to retest the next highs of 174.0. For me, in order to see 174 break, I want to see an actual fundamental technical, like more likely a fundamental reason for this areas to break for a new highs. Why? Because this is the highs that we are retesting in the higher time frames, like the weekly or daily. So usually, in order for us to see price action continue higher, it's not going to happen at random. So we're going to have to see if we get any UK data coming up that could cause those breakouts, or if we can identify additional reasons for the yen to sell off. All right. And I just want to go to this USD yields chart. Yeah, so we can see here, this is what's helping those GJ buys because the yen currency overall is weak and we're seeing a stronger pound. So right now, I like where we are at price action. This was the 15-minute. So you could just see structure. So if you go back and watch my structure video of how I like to place entries, you can see here that this was the area that I wanted to see break over London, and we broke above that area. We held this support, but I took my entries as we started breaking above structure. We broke out of those highs and we had a retest, and that's where I took my entries on GJ. And let me just see if I could probably can't, I don't know if you can see it, but that's just to confirm that I am in the buy on GJ as well. So technicals work. You can add the fundamentals with your entries. And now, if I want to look for continuations, I want to see this area continue to break above, right? So I just want to mark off this area just for a future reference. And I want to see, I just want to see the same sort of price action. All right, I want to see this high continues to hold. If we could get an order block or a retest above this zone, then it's just a higher probability that we could start seeing price continue to at least 174. All right, I would say 174 flat. In order for price to continue more higher, I want to see more of a fundamental reason for price to continue to break above. So I'm a look to take partials and break even, and it's only because I don't personally, as of right now, see price continuing bullish. But if we get those reasons that we was discussing earlier, like if we go back to, we get those yen reasons for additional downside, right? If we get those reasons for that to continue bearish, if we get the United Kingdom, the Bank of England, we get any of those fundamental reasons for a stronger pound, that's what's going to support this trade to the upside. But usually, if it's just risk flows, there's a higher chance that we're going to start seeing pullbacks. So I don't want to give back my profits to the markets. So I just want to start taking some partials, probably break even, and let's see if we could continue those trades later on. So hopefully you like this little breakdown, this a little bit of trade ideas of what to look for continuations. Just and just for a sell bias before I go, if I want to look for sells, I need to see major structure break for sells because we've been trending bullish for quite so long. So this is what I tell my members all the time. If I want to look for long-term sells, I want to see this support break because most likely if we start seeing GJ drop and melt aggressively, it's most likely 100% chance is going to be because of a fundamental reason, a fundamental catalyst. All right. So we can take advantage of sells if we break below that 172.500 area for additional sells. We're going to look for those same reasons for a weaker pound and a stronger yen. But if I want to look for longer term sells, because this sells from here and here, from this high to down, I would only look for scalps or probably won't trade sells at all. But once we can start identifying breaking below this structure, most likely it's going to be for a reason. And then we can start looking for more additional downside because we're breaking out of this range that we have here. We're breaking below structure and we're not forming higher highs no more. And we're now breaking these lows, forming potential lower lows. So if we could break below this support of 171.200, then I would start looking for overall sells. But throughout the sessions, we trade London session, New York session, we would look for potential opportunities based upon risk sentiment or economic data. So for example, if we get bad economic data, then most likely I would start looking for GJ sells depending on that. But if I'm just looking at overall price action, I would not want to sell this until we break below this support right here. All right. So hopefully this helps. like, share with a friend that needs help with trading. And also leave a comment below if there's any other videos you want me to do to help you, that could help you throughout your trading journey. All right. And if you want to be a part of our team, the link is on the bio. And see you for more breakdowns later on. Have a good one.